show. And we're going to do this every Wednesday night here at the Green Turtle. And I saw Lonnie, if you everybody here, Jawan State on my right, truck right on my left. Truck, they put extra lights on here. I tried to see the dog fans.
I know what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying? I gotta tell you, coming out. So anyway, I saw these guys at practice today. I said, what a great opportunity for my debut show to bring two of our former players back tonight on my debut show, and two of my favorite players. The great thing about West Virginia basketball, and I'll let these guys comment in a minute, but Coach Huggins, who's a Hall of Fame coach, is really, really tough on kids, tough on players. He coaches hard. He coaches hard, man. And he gets on these kids pretty hard. And you gotta be tough-minded. But I tell you what he creates. He creates a tough love that's unbelievable. And I always told Hugs, I call it like the velvet brick, that you take a brick and you wrap it up with velvet. And everybody thinks, oh, that's nice, that velvet's nice, love and soft. You smack them square over the head, and that's a brick. That's a brick. I want to start with you, Wally. Tell me your feelings about what I just said about Coach Huggins and his tough love and getting to know him. Because it amazes me how all you players, when you get free time, that you guys are both making a contract right now and go overseas and play. But in the summertime, all you guys come back. So I'm saying to myself, hold on a second, if Huggins was so tough and he was so bad to guys, why do they all come back? So I'll let you tell why you come back.
We're playing for Hugs. I would say Hugs is the definition of tough love. I mean, he's like a parent. You know, when you're doing bad, he's going to correct you. He's going to chastise you. He's going to get in your face. He's going to let you know exactly what you did wrong. And you're going to know he's mad at you. But I mean, when you're doing good, he's going to praise you. He's going to let everybody else know you're doing good. He's going to use you as an example. And then ultimately, if you do what you're supposed to do, you play hard, and you take a professional approach to the game, then I mean, you got his love forever. So, it's always rough to get to that point because you got to grow up, and growing up isn't easy, but once you get to that point, you always got a spot in his heart, and as long as you need somewhere to work out, somewhere to be, anything, you can always call Hugs, you can always come back and work.
Lonnie, would you agree with this? That you feel like the guy's got your back all the time, and the guy will help you if you're in a situation where you need advice, you need help. He's always there to direct you the right way to seek that help out. Would you agree with that?
Definitely.
Yeah, that's how I think it is. All right, Chuck, I want your opinion because your freshman year, I can like your freshman year. I'm going to before you out.
Yeah, you too.
Oh, I don't know. Oh, me too. I didn't think so. At what time did I do that drill?
I was ready to go back to New York.
You were begging me. You couldn't do no more. And I said, get out there, man. Soft ass.
Yeah, I almost went back to New York, man. But seriously, Coach Huggins, great guy. Anything you need, he's always there. I actually started speaking to him more since I left. Just a great guy to talk to. Anything you need, he's always there. Have my troubles, all football too. Did nothing but support me and help me. And
still to this day, if I need to talk about anything, I can always go to him or go to y'all, period, anybody from the coaching staff. And, I mean, it's just been amazing to come back, and after I come back from my season in Europe or whatever I'm playing at, to have a place to work out at all times, and still feel the same love as when I was playing there.
The other great thing about you guys, and I think you guys will agree with on this, not only do you come back to see coaches, Coach Hugs, Coach Mark, Coach Everhard, Coach Harrison, my son, Andy Keller, our strength and conditioning coach. That guy's a superstar, man. He makes people so tough. His kids in such shape. Our first two conference games on the road, Kansas State and Oklahoma State, we wore those guys out. The last 5 minutes of that game, their legs were tired and they couldn't shoot free throws as well. Those same 3-pointers that were going down, their legs were tired and they started missing them. I told Andy Keller today, Andy, I think our guys are in great shape. I've been watching every game. And we don't get as tired as the other team is. Now, I know we play 9 or 10 guys, which I think is an advantage to us, because most teams can only go 7 or 8 deep. At the most, 9 deep. So that wears on people too. And nobody practices like we practice. Nobody practices 3 hours. You're allowed 3 hours every day to practice. CBS TV is doing our Kansas game. The CBS TV crew talked to Brian Wesley today, our SIT, and he says they asked him if they could come to practice the day before the game. And Bess told him they can come, but we can't come for all 3 hours. And the guys from CBS TV said, 3 hours? Who does a 3-hour practice here? Well, Coach Bob Harkins, he's got 3 hours every day. By golly, my man's going to use all 3 hours.
All 3.
He ain't taking it to the grave with him, you know what I'm saying? They ain't going to put on his tombstone. Oh, Bob Harkins has 253 more hours left. He's going to use every hour he has, right, guys?
He is, for sure.
Now, let me ask you guys, besides Andy Keller, the top, Randy Bennett, you guys always need a care and physical treatment, therapy. Talk a little about Doc Leonard.
Doc has been a big help, especially for me. I've had some surgeries, I've had knee surgeries. In my season right now, playing in France, but I had plantar fasciitis over this past month. So, whenever anything is going on with me, I text Doc and ask him what's going on. Is there something I can be doing at home? He always gets back to me as soon as I text him. Whenever I come in town, he's familiar with my body, he knows what's going on. He's always there to help me. He'll come in early, he'll come in so late that he didn't have to work. So, the Doc has been a great help to me. He's always there when I need him.
So, same for me.
Talk about his hair. Talk about his training.
He's been around for so long that obviously he knows what he's doing. And that's another thing. I mean, coming back and say you're hurting during your season or whatever it is, and for him to be there for you whenever you need him is clutch for all of us, and especially the older guys, I would say now. But he's been great since I've been there and since I've been gone. So I mean, it's just been a blessing to have him around.
Now you guys came back this summer, you were around this summer, you're back now, got a chance to see our kids play, your team this year. I'd like to get an opinion, you two guys, about some of our players. Let's start with Javon Carter first. Can each one of you give me your opinion on JC, please?
Well, you know, JC played with me, so, you know, I'm real familiar with it. You know, JC is a great guy. You know, as a freshman, he used to get on my nerves a little bit. Just because he was always playing and smiling all the time. You know, when you play for others, you get real serious about basketball. So, you know, when it's time to practice and everything, you're supposed to be ready to go. But Javon's always laughing and smiling. But, you know, just to watch how he's, you know, progress and turn into a great player, you know, it makes me smile just because, you know, some little things, little pointers and stuff I tried to give him that he didn't really see when he was a freshman, you know, because he didn't really have the ball in his hand that much. You know, it's good to see him handling those situations the right way now. I mean, you know, he's always been a great shooter, a great defender, and I'm glad to see that, you know, he's leading better. You know, I feel like that's the biggest step he took.
JC, one part of the, well, I've been around a little bit longer than Warnie. I left after Juwan, so I actually was practicing with the team. And the thing that I respect the most about JC is off the court. I'm not even talking about on the court right now, because he is their leader, but he's a great example as a leader, because he works the hardest on that team. So for him to be playing as well as he is, okay, had a rough last 2 games, but the great season he's having and the team is having, I think he deserves nothing less than that by his work ethic.
Chuck, would you agree that one, I tell everybody, Javon Carter, talk about players being high maintenance, low maintenance. I think Javon Carter is no maintenance. I think it's no maintenance. I don't think he gives you any problems whatsoever. I don't think you have to worry about him off the court. I don't think you have to worry about him, what's he doing. Unlike my coaches, I just see. I want you guys to love this, Chuck. One, since I retired 2 weeks ago, I went and got another physical to make sure that this 64-year-old body ain't wearing way out. And it's unbelievable, since I retired, my stress level is gone. And my blood pressure is down. My cholesterol is lower. And my sugar count is lower. And I don't have as many gray hairs. Because you know that, you might be crazy. I told Kathy at Christmas, my wife Kathy, by the way, I got to acknowledge my wife in here, 41 years, going through ovarian cancer and leukemia. This girl is the toughest person you're tougher than both these guys. These guys couldn't go through what you did, Kathy. But Kathy, love you, girl. You've always been there for me. I always appreciate that. Thank you. So let's go to the next player. Let's talk about Dexter Miles.
I'll start this one off.
Go ahead.
He reminds me of myself. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. No, seriously, Dexter, one of the senior leaders on the team. I think he's been having a great season. As far as leadership, I don't know his numbers. I only saw about 3 games. It's tough when I'm overseas. But when I was here in town, I watched a couple games, and then when I got back, I watched a couple games. But it's been good. That's one thing about basketball. When you win, everything's good.
Takes good.
And God forbid, just hopefully they can just keep that up. Everything winning just tastes good. I mean, it's been a winning program for a long time now. So I mean, it's just good to see Dexter doing well, and as a senior, going out good as a senior.
I think that's what takes players this long quality. But I think he's finally trying to do more things than shoot the jumper, shoot the three. Dax, I think, is trying to rebound better. I think he's trying to take the ball to the rim better and finish the rim. What do you think, Juan?
You know, Dax, like this, they both freshmen, spirit was in love for every game. You know, he would take any shot. I remember hitting the game where it gets TCU. You know, that's something I've always learned about him. Just, no matter who you put in front of me, he's always fearless.
Next player, Sags.
Sags.
I like Sags.
I like Sags a lot. Sags, where do I start? I guess he's freaking nature athletic. I mean, he alters every shot that's put up. And I think once he learned to be a little bit smarter on the court, he'd be a lot better. And it's just good to see his growth. Obviously, I watch the game still. And it's just good to see him keep growing every year. And getting smarter, getting some post moves, and just being a better teammate every year.
Yeah, I would agree. You know, I like Sags a lot. You know, I wish I could have played with Sags. You know, just how the man he is in the paint. You know, with the presence, he's always trying to block shots. Maybe sometimes even too much. But I think this year he's doing a better job of it than last year. You know, sometimes he's going straight up instead of trying to block them. But I mean, he's strong. He's got a nice touch. He's got a nice feel for the game. I'll give you see him make some better passes this year. So I enjoy watching Sags play. And, you know, when you hear him talk, it's hilarious to me. You know, because he has the French accent. He talks, always talking trash, you know, making jokes. So, you know, I just enjoy Sags.
All right, let's go to my boy, Lamont West. Now think about it. Before I let you guys start, I gotta say this. We talk about when he first got here, talk about immature, young, unbelievable. He's become so much better. Would you agree on it?
Of course.
Go ahead.
Lamont. I remember when Lamont came in, he was his freshman year coming in, and I was already graduated, but I was back and I was working out. And he came in and I had music playing, and I think I was in the restaurant. So I'm in the restaurant maybe 2 minutes, and I come out and he's playing his music, some wild, crazy, retarded music. And I'm getting shots up, so I'm like, man, listen, he turned that off, I don't want to hear that. And he started going off. I remember he went and told the coaches on me. So I'm like, how old is he? Did he just go tell them? But like, you know, as I was seeing him on down, first of all, like I said, he's a great shooter. You know, he has a perfect touch. But just to see how much he's matured on the court and off the court, he's so good. I mean, it's been pleasantly surprising. I don't think he has the skill. You know, I still don't think that he's even reached anywhere near his potential yet. I think he can defend, he can shoot, he can rebound. I mean, he can work on his ankle a little bit, but I think he can go with his good.
What do you think, Chuck?
I think maturity was key for him. I knew he was a good player. Mismatch problems, a little bit of everything, but shoot it well. Post up a little bit more, I think, this year. Most importantly, he's confident right now. He's been playing well, so he's confident. I think it's a big thing. It's a big thing with maturity, and as he matures, he starts playing a lot better.
Confidence, Chuck, because there's a mismatch problem for a lot of people. Because now he's posting up more with the scoring side more than anything. Again, there's another wonders what I did because you remember when he first got here, how skinny and weak he was physically. Like a guy who looked like a colt, you know, a newborn who had gangly legs, could hardly stand up, you know. The blow damn guy would fall down, you know. He couldn't go out. If the wind was over 5 miles an hour, he couldn't go outside. He could go away. Now, are we going to have a Q&A right now? We got a handheld mic. A man's going to walk around. If you have a question about the team, about anything with Waddy or Truck, myself, I got a handheld mic going around. Let me know if you find somebody, and we will have a little question and answer for the last 5 minutes
games and the road team has won 8 of those games. Does that just tell you that the league is wide open? Because that never happens in the Big 12.
That's a great observation. It's amazing. Out of the 9 games, 8 road teams, 8 teams that went on the road won. I think this year, for the first time, I've been here 10 years. I told Hugs the other day in the office, I can't remember from top to bottom the league ever being like it is this year so far. Now we're just a couple games into the league, but looking at the teams and what they did in the non-conference, and now two conference games in, there was always a team or two that you sort of could go to and didn't really have to bring your A game to get a victory. TCU was like that before Jamie Dixon got there. I mean, let's admit it. TCU could go in there, Texas Tech, they say 2 things. Now last night, Texas Tech smacked Kansas. I heard a stat today that blew my mind. Last night, Texas Tech at Kansas. It's the first time in the history of Kansas University basketball, the first time in the history of basketball of Kansas, which is rich and full of tradition, that they never had the lead in the game. Kansas has always had a lead in the game every game they played, except last night. They never led at any time during that game. Any other questions out there? Anybody else got one? Speak up, just yell your name or whatever. Wave your hand. Got one? Got on? Is that magic? Is that some of the players?
Hey Coach, I got one for you.
Yeah.
So you coached under Gary Williams and Coach Huggins and was a head coach as well.
Right.
What are the best characteristics of those coaches that you tried to take with you when you had your, or that you think makes them successful?
Well, Gary Williams of Maryland is in the Hall of Fame. Bob Huggins has just dominated for the Hall of Fame. It's a matter of time until he's in the Hall of Fame. So I've been blessed. I got to work for 2 Hall of Fame coaches. I was 12 years with Coach Williams of Maryland. I was 10 years with Coach Huggins here at WVU. I don't know if anybody can say they worked for 2 Hall of Fame coaches. I had a chance to do that. And what's common with those 2 guys is this. They both hate to lose. I mean, when I say hate, everybody likes to win. But some people are sore losers more than other people. Well, you don't want to lose 2 games in a row ever at Maryland. And you don't want to lose with Gary Williams, I'll say that. And you sure as hell don't want to lose 2 games in a row with Coach Huggins. Because I'll tell you what, they make it miserable for everybody. Coaches, players, strength and conditioning coach, academic advisors, secretaries at work, their wives, my wife. It's horrible. And we go like, please let us win this next game. Please. Is that right? Is it right, fellas?
That's right. That's right.
So those 2 guys hated to lose, and both those guys spent a lot of time in preparation, watching tape, coming up with a game plan. Both Gary Williams and Bob Huggins were tremendous at it. And I got to break a little bit, Chuck. You know what else was common about Gary Williams and Billy Hahn? I mean, Gary Williams and Bob Huggins, they had Billy Hahn. How about that?
Okay, well, listen, I'll go on air. I will go on air and say this. Best scouting report I've ever saw from you.
I had a good scouting board in that truck.
Yes.
You know what? I kept it nice and simple.
Got me out of trouble.
Exactly right. Over-analysis equals paralysis,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Short and sweet.
Yes.
Sort of like a kiss, you know? You want to do it long when I get in trouble, though. All right, how much more time we got? We're going to cut this off? All right, we're going to let Truck and Ronnie go. Let's wish them a good luck wherever they play this year and give them a hand for coming out tonight for the debut show. Thank you. Next part of the show will be Coach Ron Everhart with the Oklahoma University scouting report for Saturday's game. Coach Everhart, thank you for showing up, man.
Thanks for having me. Always an honor and a pleasure to be in your company, man.
Did you get your workout in today?
Absolutely.
Now,
Here very recently.
we're going to talk about your scout on Saturday,
Oh, yeah.
Oklahoma. And give us your thoughts, and we'll go through their personnel a little bit and what they like to do. Let's talk about personnel first.
Well, personnel-wise, obviously they're a very good team. And great transition. They remind you more of an NBA team than a Big 12 team at times, the way they push the basketball. Obviously, when you talk about their personnel, everybody starts with Trae Young. He's maybe the best guard in college basketball as of today in college basketball. Very, very good off the dribble. But I think what makes him the most dangerous is, aside from the fact that he's a great shooter, is he can really pass the ball. His vision is unbelievable. And the way he pushes the ball ahead on the pass makes him very dangerous because all five guys can run, pass, dribble, and shoot. So they're a real versatile team that way. So you really have to guard them on the perimeter. You have to guard them inside. Most importantly, you got to keep him under control because he gets in the teeth of your defense. He just always makes the right decision, it seems like. So obviously he's the key to their whole deal. We're going to have to be able to contain him.
Ronnie, you've watched. See, I'll just say this: when a coach gets ready to scout, it's his scout. Coach Harrison and Coach Martin and Coach Everhart, they split up the scouts for the season. And Coach Everhart has Oklahoma, so he's watched how many 5-6 game tapes of Oklahoma?
About 8. And I'm going to see him again live tonight.
So they're going to watch him live at 9 o'clock tonight, watch him on TV. At 9 o'clock tonight, they play Oklahoma State, so they'll get another look at him tonight. He's already watched 8 or 9 of their games. And Hugs likes coaches to look at last year's tape and to see what they did the year before a little bit too, like against 1-3-1, against our pressure. So Ronnie has done a great job of watching the tape and knows the personnel and everything. Let's talk about a couple other players besides Trae Young. And Ronnie, would you agree with this? Trae Young, to me, as a basketball purist, throws the ball ahead as good as any guard I can remember in college basketball.
Maybe as well as any guard even in the NBA right
Yeah.
now. He's a look-ahead passer.
Unbelievable.
As good as they get.
Unbelievable.
Anybody who comes and watches the game on Saturday is going to see a guy who, in my opinion, and you know, I've coached at 3 different Division I schools, so I mean, I've seen a lot of pretty good players. In fact, I've had 2 NBA guys myself as point guards,
Right.
J.J. Barea
Yep.
and T.J. McConnell. So
Yep.
I've had some guys that were pretty good, and this kid is unbelievable good. He's going to be a top 5 pick, and the 4 that don't take him number 1 are going to regret it eventually.
You know, Hugs, talking to Hugs today, we were talking about how he throws ahead. Hugs said the guy that he remembers the best that threw ahead was Jason Kidd.
Very similar.
And he said Jason Kidd had to throw the ball ahead all the time because Jason Kidd couldn't shoot a lick.
That's the thing, that this kid
Kid could shoot.
Oh, he's shooting 42% from the three-point line, and the majority of his shots are 4 or 5 feet beyond the three-point line. He's a great shooter and can get his shot off the dribble. He can penetrate it and finish it at the rim, and he can throw it ahead. Honestly, doesn't have a lot of weaknesses in his game.
Right.
you actually, as a scout, as a guy scouting the game, you kind of get caught up in watching him a little bit too much because he does so many things for him.
I got you. Tonight, you know what? People, if you go home tonight, 9 o'clock tonight, Oklahoma's playing Oklahoma State. If you want to get a joy of watching a kid that play basketball, that knows how to play, watch Trae Young. I don't say you got to watch the whole game, but watch about 10 minutes of tonight's game. I bet you, when you start watching him, I bet you don't turn your TV off because the guy captures you. The guy just grabs you.
Yeah, he's fun to watch.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a fact. And, the guys that are around him, Billy,
Yeah, I want to talk about that. Go ahead.
They've got a young kid named Manick who played with Trae Young as an AAU guy for a lot of years out in Oklahoma. 6'9", white kid. He's big and long and athletic, and he can really shoot it. He makes him really, really good because he gives him a fourth shooter on the floor all the time. And he's as good a perimeter shooter as a lot of guys. I mean, he reminds you a lot of a guy like Nate Adrian. He runs around. He's got a lot of energy, guards, but he really shoots it well. Then they have James and Odoms on the wing to start, and those guys are, 6'4", 6'5" guys that are very athletic, run the floor. They play out of the corner, so they're always a danger to penetrate the ball, especially after that second pass, because Young will look for the hockey assist, not just the regular assist. So he'll get it to them, and they'll drive it and kick it again. So they like to try to spread you out, run and kick. And then they have Latin, who's been with them. He's been starting for them for the last 3 years. He's the kid who had the tip in out at Oklahoma a couple years ago to beat us. And the kid that
kid's gotten a lot better.
He's gotten a lot better.
Really improved.
Well, the kid that's even improved more is McNeese.
Right.
Jamani McNeese comes off the bench for him, and McNeese is playing more minutes than Latin when it comes down to the overall game. And he's real bouncy, 6'9" guy who plays way above the rim. Him and Latin are two of the 4 leading shot blockers in the Big 12 right now, with Bamba and Sags being the other 2.
Right.
So they have basically two guys like Sags that play in there and protect the rim and block shots, and they rely on them a lot to do that. So they're tough to score on defensively, but they come off the bench with backup guys like McGusty, who's been like an all-league guy before. And those are the guys that are coming in as subs for him. Jordan Shepard's a backup point guard. And they just are very, very deep. They go 9 guys deep. They got a kid named Matt Freeman who comes in for Manick at the 4 spot. I mentioned McNeese as a backup center. They got a kid named Lazenby who comes in, a little 6'4" guard a good athlete who could run and shoot.
Right.
So not only are they a good basketball team, they pass it well and they're very deep. So we've got our work cut out for us.
Would you say, Ronnie, it looks like to me, maybe I'm wrong, you see more tape than I have, it looks like they almost try to get a layup, a dunk, or a three-pointer.
Yeah.
They don't take very many in-between shots, do they?
Well, the only guy that does is Young, because he'll
does
pull
a
up or
floater.
run that little floater in there. Yeah, but
yeah,
they normally do, and they'll work for that.
Yeah, that's why I look.
The hard part is when you trap Young, you're going to leave somebody open,
Yeah.
and you have 4 shooters running around out there.
Yeah.
You got to cover up the big guy who's running to the rim, so somebody's open.
Right.
And Young is very good at finding the open man because his vision is so good. We'll see if our pressure can make him uncomfortable. I think it will. He hasn't seen the type of ball pressure that a kid like Javon Carter can give him yet in this league. So it'll be interesting to see how he reacts to that. But this will be the first time that he's going to have real heavy pressure. He got a little bit from Arkansas earlier in the year, but this will be the first time that he's had to endure that kind of heat for 40 minutes.
This is a great game for a fan because you got the number 6 team in the country playing against the number 7 team in the country.
Yeah.
You got Oklahoma, who leads the Big 12 in scoring with 94 points a game.
Oh, yeah.
You got West Virginia, who's 4th, averaging 84 points a game. You got a scoring margin. West Virginia is beating people by 19 points a game. Oklahoma's winning their games by 14 a game. There's a lot of similarities in this game. And I think you're going to see 2 teams that are very, very good, obviously, number 6 and number 7 in the country.
Well, I think in both of our rights, we do some things very, very well, and I think they do too.
Right.
it'll be interesting to see how they guard us. Right now, they're last in the league in scoring defense, so they've been giving up a few points here. Now they've played a pretty tough schedule too, but they're an interesting team because on any given night, they're the kind of team I think like we are that can beat anybody.
Would you think they're a team that tries to outscore you more than stop you?
Yeah, I would say that.
Right?
Yeah,
that's what they appear to be.
Yeah, clearly they want to get the ball into Trae Young's hands.
Exactly. That's what I look like.
And I think he protects himself defensively. So as a point guard on defense, things normally start with a ball pressure type of guard. He's not really that type of defender. So I think what happens is they have a few more defensive breakdowns than they probably should because of that fact. But he hasn't fouled out any games. He stayed in on offense.
Right.
And they have.
What if you isolate him and post his little butt up? What happens?
No one really has done that.
Well, we're going to do that, right?
I would imagine we will try to do that a little bit.
I would think we would, knowing Huggs, I'm
Huggs
sure.
is in the Hall of Fame for a reason, Billy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you think?
Yeah.
You think?
Yeah, I think he'll do that.
Hey, here's another thing that concerns me. It scares me to death. They are number 2 in the Big 12 as a team shooting 74% from the free throw line.
Yeah.
That scares me because we foul a lot. I'm sorry, we foul a lot because of the way we play.
We do.
I don't want to put them to the line.
However, I can point to our last 2 road games in the Big 12 and tell you that we won both those games because we made our free throws. We're the 3rd best free throw shooting percentage team in the league.
Shooting 73%.
And that's as high as we've been for a while.
And you know what? The last 2 games, Ronnie? Both those games, Oklahoma State, Kansas State, we got into their legs. They were tired, and they didn't make their free throws down the stretch. Oklahoma State, they're the number 1 shooting team in the Big 12.
That's correct.
It's number 1. Oklahoma number 2, West Virginia number 3. Oklahoma State down the stretch in the first game, missed down the stretch because they were tired, Ronnie.
So did K-State, Billy.
K-State did the same thing.
Yeah.
I agree. Yep.
Yeah. And it'll be interesting to see if Oklahoma will do the same. The reason I say that is Oklahoma's a little deeper. They have the ability to play more guys, more minutes.
Right.
So I don't know if they're the type of team that gets worn down. I guess we'll see. But it'll be interesting to find out whether they get worn down or not with our pressure.
Well, we're at the Green Turtle, and they tell me that you can watch this tomorrow at DominionPost.com.
Is that right?
Yeah, so I bet you're going to watch. I bet you might want to watch this because you're talking about 2 legendary guys here right now, Ronnie.
Yeah, I don't know about I'm a legend in my own mind, I think. But I'll tell you one thing. I wouldn't mind turning it on and watching it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? Over a couple beers, there might be some chuckles in this thing,
Yeah, you're right about that.
Yeah. So I got to say this. I've known Coach Everhart for a long time. Long time. Coach Everhart played college basketball at Virginia Tech after going to playing for the legendary Morgan Wooten at DeMatha High School, which is an unbelievable basketball school in Hyattsville, Maryland. It's a private school, Catholic school, DeMatha High School. And Coach Everhart played for Morgan Wooten. Then he went to play at Virginia Tech. And did you played with Seth Curry's dad, correct?
Del Curry, yeah. In fact, we were roommates for a year. Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Could he shoot it like Seth? Or like?
He shot it better than his son.
No, he didn't.
He spent 15 years in the NBA, man. Yeah, he did. I'm not lying.
Was he as deep?
As deep or more. He was.
Really?
Dell was 6'5". He could shoot it. Now, he couldn't pass it or handle the ball like his son.
Yeah.
But see, Dell married an All-American volleyball player at Tech.
She's
Sonia.
gorgeous. She's gorgeous.
So he did pretty good. I think they got a little genetic boost there because he married a great athlete.
Oh.
Yeah.
And she's really pretty.
Yeah.
Isn't she?
Sonia is, yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, she still hates me, though, because she says I corrupted her husband.
Is that right?
That's what she says. No, I'm just
It's
kidding.
probably true.
I'm just kidding.
I love it. All right, let me ask you this. So, what do you think the top 3 keys are that we have to do to stop Oklahoma to win this game? the top 3 keys?
Well, I think number one, Billy, we got to keep Trey Young under control. You know, we can't let him run around and get 39 like he did against TCU and make all those deep threes and get in their lane and make all those passes. I think the other thing is we got to keep McNeese and Latin off the glass because they offensive rebounded well, even though they're so spread out. And then I think the most important thing is we got to limit their supporting cast. You know, we can't let Odoms or McGusty or their wing guys, Christian James, you know, go crazy and have big nights. Manic the same way. You know, we got to be able to shut those guys down, and hopefully, you know, we'll be able to ball pressure them into some mistakes because we want to get up and run them off the line and make them dribble. So I think if we can make other guys playmakers, that's going to be huge.
Ronnie, do you think we could turn them over? Can we create turnovers?
Yeah, I think
because it seems like they handle the ball extremely well, and Trey's got the ball in his hands the majority of the time. And that little son of a gun, I don't see him turn it over very much.
But we're going to have to make him pass it, and I think if we do that, which is hard to do, but I think if we do that, we'll be able to turn him over. I think the bigger question is will we not turn it over? You know, at K-State, we tried to give it away because we had 18 turnovers. We forced 21.
Right.
It doesn't work well that way.
Exactly.
You know, we got to be 10 or under for our pressured defensive scheme to work the way it's supposed to.
So that's what we got to stop them with. Now, let me ask this. What do we have to do offensively? 3 keys.
Offensively, we have to get them to chase us. You know, we can't let them sit around defensively and keep their shot blockers at home. So our big guys are going to have to make a 15-footer or two, get out, screen, get their big guy away from the basket, number one. Number two, Carter or Miles have to play well. They've got to get in the teeth of the defense and make the extra pass without turning the ball over. And I think number 3, our bench guys, the Teddy Allens and Beetle Boldens, are going to have to play well when they come off the bench because these are the kinds of games that those kids could thrive in if the way things work out, they're going to be mismatches somewhere for Teddy and Beetle. So they're going to have to take advantage of those offensively for us to do the things that we want to do.
Well, it's going to be a big stage, obviously. Coliseum's sold out. Can't get a ticket.
Yep.
Students are coming back from break. I think the student crowd will be there. It's a 7:15 tip. So Saturday night games in Morgantown, on Saturday night games,
They're normally pretty popular, aren't they?
pretty popular because those students drink all day and then they come to the game.
You know, I read an interesting stat today. It said in in Messerly's notes, it said that 8 times in West Virginia University basketball history, 8 times 2 teams have met in the Coliseum that were in the top 10 in the country.
Really?
Well, out of those 8 times, 7 of them, Bob Huggins has been coaching here.
How about that? I didn't know that.
Yeah,
really.
it's really interesting. So it's another.
That's a pretty good stat.
Yeah, it was pretty impressive. That one kind of jumped out at you. So, interestingly enough, it's just another top 10 matchup, 7th one since Huggs has been here. So, kind of a testament to the great job that he does day in and day out, and year in and year out.
Well, we got a all-star venue, packed Saturday night. The announcing team is an all-star team with Fran Fraschilla and who's the big fella? I can't think of his name right now. Oh, the guy play-by-play that does Jambi.
Oh, John Shambi.
John Shambi.
That's the Major League Baseball guy. Yeah,
John Shambi and Fran Fraschilla.
Yep.
They're going to do the game. 7:15 start. The atmosphere in the Coliseum is it gets wired in there, man. It's amazing when the Coliseum gets wired and you feel the frenzy. And it's hard to describe it unless you're, as a coach, and you're down there on the floor and they get into that crowd, gets into it, Ronnie. That damn thing gets loud, brother.
I'll tell you what, I went to high school at Fairmont Senior High School for 3 years before I left to go to DeMatha. It's
Right.
kind of like the Fairmont Armory, you know what I mean?
Yep.
It just gets packed and gets loud, and
Yep.
it's obviously a much bigger stage, but it's one of those places where, you know, you can't hear, and it's great for us. It's the best home court advantage you can have, and I've always said this, even back when I was a kid, the West Virginia fans are the greatest fans anywhere because they make sure when they come out to watch a game, they're loud and they do the right thing, and they make it very difficult on every opponent.
You know what, Ronnie? When Bob Huggins hired Billy Hahn 10 years ago, I've known Hugs for 40 years. He's a really good friend of mine. And he hired me. He said, Billy, he said, I can't describe to you everywhere that you've coached in your career. I can't describe to you. You'll figure it out. You'll see it yourself. But the passion the state of West Virginia has for the Mountaineers, he said, Billy, he says, I know you had great teams in Maryland. You had great teams everywhere you've been. He says, but this is a special place that only you can understand once you're here. Yeah. And you know what, Ronnie? Bob Huggins was so right.
Oh,
it was
right.
unbelievable. It's just amazing how the people in the state of West Virginia, how caring they are, and how much their loyalty is to you, and how much they generally concerned about how you're doing. When my wife went through her cancer, Ruby Hospital saved my wife. There's so many people came forward to help us get through that ovarian cancer and leukemia, including the medical staff, but not only that, just people praying for us, people sending us cards, people constantly contacting us. It's been mind-boggling how good this place been.
Oh, that's a great state. I grew up here.
I
grew up in Marion County, and
yep.
The majority of my family were coal miners, and I can tell you that those guys lived and died, and their families lived and died every day on the success of West Virginia University athletics, whether it was football, basketball, or whatever. They cared. They really cared. And then those guys worked 8, 12, 16-hour shifts. They weren't above ground for a long time. But when they were, that was their passion. And I think that's the way it is with a lot of families here in West Virginia.
Best thing, Ronnie, is when we took our team a couple years ago, took them down in the mine.
Right, when we went down to Robinson Run,
Yeah, we went down under.
Yep.
Ronnie, I came home and told my wife, I said, Kathy, what I experienced today is the most amazing thing, that we've got people from West Virginia that every day go down under and spend that whole day down under.
Or night.
Or night. When I got out of that cart that got me to the elevator, we were down there for a good 3 hours, maybe 4.
About a mile below, yeah.
And a mile below. And when I took that elevator back up, I kissed the floor, and I told Kathy, I said, Kathy, that was a great experience, but I'll tell you one thing, Billy Hahn ain't never going to go down under again, dog.
Well, I tell you what, Billy, could you imagine tonight, what is it, 0 degrees, 10 degrees?
Oh, my God.
Can you imagine, they got to pump that air in from outside down underneath. Can you imagine those guys are working down, they're working night shift right now.
Right now, as we speak.
Absolutely.
You know what's great, Ronnie? They're going to come home and they're going to go to DominionPost.com and watch our show when they get out of the mines tomorrow.
There you
know what I'm saying?
That's right.
Hey, thank you very much. We'll be here every Wednesday night. I want to thank Cliff Sutherland and the Green Turtle again. I want to thank the Dominion Post again for all your hard work that you've given me the opportunity to do this on every Wednesday night. I thank Coach Ron Everhart, who is a legend in the coaching field that we live in, and a great West Virginia guy. How about a big hand for Coach Ronnie Everhart?
Thank you, Billy.
Thanks, dog.
Appreciate it, brother. Love you too, brother. Thank you.
Thank you, people. Have a safe trip back. Thanks for coming out. We'll be here every Wednesday night. God bless you. Great day to be alive. Count your blessings.